Amazing day to all. This is Teacher Dan Roget, and welcome to another episode of our Let Review session. It's been a while, so naging busy for the past weeks, but I'm back for another Let Review session with you. I hope you have your paper and pen para sabayan ninyo ako sa pagsasagot ng ating mga Let Review items for this episode. So this episode, we're going to focus on Science Majorship. So we'll have the let review drill one. So let me first share my slide. Okay. So I hope you've been reading for the past week and you've been answering drills, and hopefully you were able to finish. If not yet, you can go back to our old review videos, especially in science majorship in our YT channel. All right, so once again, welcome to our science majorship review drill number one. I am your Ag Amazing Guru teacher, Dan Rogayan. And of course, before we start, we have to make sure that we manifest and claim that you will all pass the board exam. So this is a preparation for your board exam come March 2023 under the enhanced table of specification issued by the professional regulation. So for the review focus, as I promised, we will be every time we do the review, we'll have the review focus. So for this episode, our review focus is on science instruction, specifically on the methods and technology for teaching science. So we're going to cover 1.1, lead in the exploration of challenging activities to motivate interest in science, and 1.2, illustrate assessment tools to measure the outcomes of learning in science. So I think everybody's ready, so let's start. Why is science valued? A, because science has helped in satisfying many basic human needs. B, because science has helped in improving living conditions. C, because science has caused detrimental effects in the environment. Or letter D, both A and B. Right, so what is the answer? Why is science valued? It's because science has helped in satisfying many basic human needs, and it has helped in improving living conditions. So both A and B is the answer. That is letter D. Why is incorrect? It's because you can see there detrimental effects in the environment. So this is actually stated negatively, and it shows the negative effects of the products of science and technology in the environment, which of course makes it incorrect. No? Kasi the question is focused on why do we value science? And when we say why do we value science, we focus on the advantages and of course the benefits that we gain of course we gain in science, so particularly in its application. So that is question number one. Okay? And if ever matanong, no, so in what particular part of the Constitution is the development of science and technology articulated? That is actually in Article 14. No? So Article 14 under the 1987 Constitution titled Education, Science, and Technology, Arts, Culture, and Sport. So particularly, it's stated under Section 10. So it says here, science and technology are essential for national development and progress. So you can see there that the role of S&T in the development and in the progress, no, of one's country, like the Philippines. So the state shall give priority to research and development, invention, innovation, and their utilization, and to science and technology, education, training, and services. So basically, the DOST, or the Department of Science and Technology, is the lead agency, no, that actually takes charge in the development of science and technology, particularly, of course, of supporting our Filipino scientists and researchers in their pursuit of innovation and invention. Lalo ngayon that we are gearing towards the new industrial revolution. Okay, so it shall support indigenous, appropriate, and self-reliant scientific and technological capabilities and their application to the country's productive systems and national life. So our role as science teachers is also crucial because we are the molders, no, of future scientists and researchers. And of course, we facilitate the learning of science among our students in our respective classroom, may it be a physical classroom or virtual classroom. Okay. Second, The physical sciences include physics, the study of physical things, chemistry, the study of matter, and astronomy, the science of celestial objects. What facet of science is illustrated here? A, science is a broad body of knowledge. B, science is a set of skills. C, science is social activity. Or letter D, science is a global human endeavor. We're trying to spell out the different branches of science in the questions. What facet is being illustrated? Of course, that is letter A. Science as a broad body of knowledge. Remember that science is a systematic enterprise of knowledge or body of knowledge with a lot of subdisciplines, like for example, the physical sciences, the life sciences, and even our social science. So, it's actually speaks about science, no, being a broad body of knowledge. So letter B, science a set of skills. This is something to do with the cultivation or development of scientific skills or science process skills, no, among our learners, and even us, no, teachers. Science as a social activity. Of course, science must be shared, no, and must be collaborated by one another for us to be able to come up with a conclusion or generalization. And science is a global human endeavor. It's not only the Philippines that of course continuously innovating, no, or inventing or discovering. No, this is a collaborative process among and between countries. All right, so you can see here some of the branches of science which we mentioned earlier. So when we say biology, it pertains to life science. And when we say biology, the old name for biology is natural history. That's why those scientists working in biology years, decades ago, are actually called naturalists. And the father of biology is Aristotle. Then chemistry is pertains to matter and composition. So it is something to do with um, the component, no, matter, no, being referred to anything that occupies space and has mass. So it is something to do with that, and of course, it actually deals about the composition of matter. So Anton Laurent Lavoisier is being referred, no, as the father of modern chemistry. Physics, for it refers to matter and energy. So the relationship between matter and energy, while earth science pertains to the geoscience. So geoscience is several subdisciplines. We have hydrology, study of water. We also have, of course, geology, the earth's movement, earth structure. What else? We also have we have also astronomy, no, the study of the celestial bodies, no, and the study of the universe. So we're going to deal with that, no, in other review episodes that we will be having. All right. So next question: the six basic scientific process skills are observation, communication, classification, measurement, inference, and prediction. What scientific facet is shown here? A, science is a broad body of knowledge. B, science is a set of skills. C, science is a social activity. Or letter D, science as a global human entity. What do you think? Answer. A, of course, that is letter B, science as a set of skills. Now, I earlier cited that when we deal about basic science process skills, we're dealing about science as a set of skills. So we made mention, no, of the different basic science process skills. Okay. So as you can see, we have here the six, no, basic science process skills. We have the observation, no, the use of our five senses, our sense of sight, our sense of hearing, our sense of thoughts, our sense of taste, and even our sense of smell. Okay. Then for communication, of course, our students need to communicate the results in their experimentation, in their research, no? Once they actually conducted, no, their experiment. Classification has something to do with the ability, the basic science process skill of our students to categorize, no, different entities, for example, different objects. For example, living and non-living things, eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells, ano pa, ano pang kina-categorize natin, Animalia, Kingdom Animalia, and Kingdom Plantae. So, There's something to do with classification. Okay. Then for measurement, is something to do with, of course, the use of measuring tools, no? Especially, when we deal about the fundamental quantities. We have the length, temperature, we have the amount of substance, among others. Then prediction has something to do with, okay, ano yung prediction? What's the difference between prediction and inference? Well, when you say prediction, statement, no, what will happen in the future. So we actually do forecasting, no, based on our previous knowledge or based on the previous state. So we're going to predict, no, or to see the pattern. Well, for inference, has something to do with judgment on what you see, what you hear, and what you see. So basically, you analyze the data that is happening right now, or just has happened, no? Which you can also base from your previous experience or your previous knowledge. But here you have to formulate, no, your inference based on the data, no, at the moment, or right at your very eyes, no, or when you hear it or when you smell it. Okay, so prediction, forecasting of the future, while inference is something to do with a judgment based on the existing data. Okay, so basically these are some of the basic science process skills. We'll deal about it more when we have the next episodes, no, in our review for science week. Okay. Next question is concerned about learning, teaching, and understanding science. A, science education. B, science process skills. C, science teacher. D, science work. What is the answer? Okay, of course, that is science education. So it is concerned about learning, about teaching, about understanding science. And science education is very crucial. That is why most of you probably really specialize in science education. Maybe some are unit takers, but of course you had your content and pedagogy courses, so you are eligible, no, to apply for the licensure exam. For in the new curriculum, the focus of science education is of course leaning towards development of future science teacher, which are of course 21st century ready, future ready, future proof, and of course, industry ready. Because after the board exam, you will go to DepEd or probably Commission on Higher Education if you want to teach in higher education level. And you need to be, of course, competent, globally competitive, and functionally literate science teacher. So that pertains to science education. And let's have a quick look about the K-12 science curriculum in the Philippines. No, the curriculum guide was initially issued, no, in 2016, and then was revised in 2019. So you can see here that the sequence of domain strands per quarter. So you can see that the offering of science starts in grade 3, okay? So then, of course, that will until grade 6 for elementary. Then for junior high school, we have grade 7 to grade 10. And as you can see, for the elementary, the first quarter pertains to matter, something to do with chemistry. Second quarter pertains to living things and their environment, no? Which is of course focused on biology. Third quarter, force, motion, and energy, which is focused on physics. While fourth quarter is focused on earth and space science. So basically, that's the sequence, no, of the strands, no, per quarter in elementary level. But if you can see in grade 7 to grade 10, there is a different, no, sequencing. So you can see that in grade 7, start with chemistry, biology, physics, and earth and space. Then for grade 8, we have physics, earth, space, chemistry, and biology. While for grade 9, biology, chemistry, earth and space, and physics. While for grade 10, we have earth and space, physics, biology, and chemistry. So this is something to do with also the spiral curriculum, no? Spiral progression. We're going to deal with spiral progression by and by. So basically, uh, this is how the science curriculum, no, in the elementary and in junior high school is actually sequence. So tatandaan nyo, especially second BS Ed Science, no, dapat alam natin yung sequencing for grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10. So ang problema sa grade 3 to grade 6, pare-pareho lang yan, no? So math or biology, so chemistry, biology, physics, and earth and space. But for grade 7 to grade 10, this is a bit different. Okay. So next question, it is a series of processes for validating and expanding scientific knowledge. A, scientific literacy; B, scientific method; C, scientific name; D, scientific jargon. Okay. So when we say a process for validating and expanding scientific knowledge, of course, when we talk about scientific process, we of course pertaining to scientific method. So this is actually our systematic way of validating, no, or expanding our knowledge and science. So of course, scientific method would always start with observation. And of course, because we do observe, we have to formulate the gap or the research or the problem. And that will be the basis of our hypothesis later. Okay? So when we say scientific literacy, this is something to do with your ability to gain scientific knowledge. So in scientific literacy, it includes your your knowledge about the nature of science, the relevance of science in society, and even the different scientific concepts and theories. For scientific name, when we deal about scientific name, we always mention the term binomial nomenclature. And when you say binomial nomenclature, it's a two name system or two name system because we do get the two parts. There are two parts of scientific name, the genus and species. For example, scientific name of mango, Mangifera indica. So Mangifera is the genus, indica is the species. So another example, corn, Zea mice. So Zea is the genus, mice is the species. Another for animals, for example, dog, no? Canis familiaris. So Canis is the genus, familiaris is the species. Another example, Carabao, yes. Carabao, ano na nga yung Carabao na? Carabao, Bubalus bubalis. So Bubalus is the genus, Bubalis is the species. So Bubalus bubalis. So basically, the scientific name are binomial nomenclature. The science workshop, of course, is a professional development course among us science teachers or prospective science teachers wherein we immerse, no, into creation of outputs based on the topic in that particular workshop or day. So this is something to do with continuing professional development. Remember na may CPD law tayo sa Pilipinas, no? And we are required, no, to have a minimum, maximum, okay? Actually, maximum. Kailangan 15 CPD units every 3 years prior to our renewal of our PRC. Okay? So next question, it refers to addressing our own needs without jeopardizing future generations' potential to do the same. We need not only natural, but also social and economic resources. So what does it mean? Is it A, sustainability; B, scientific literacy; C, science education; D, development? Okay? Addressing our own needs without jeopardizing the future's generation. When we hear that, no, lagi-lagi na itatanong din ito, of course, that is sustainability. Sustainability is it addresses, no, our own needs without, of course, jeopardizing the future's generation potential to do this. And when we talk about sustainability, we are always being reminded, no, of the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals. And these Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations actually has a total of 17 goals or 17 SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals. Because we are teachers, the most relevant to us is, of course, SDG 4 on quality education, promoting quality and inclusive education for all. So was actually adopted. The 17 SDGs was actually adopted by UN member states in 2015. And of course, the target attainment of this is in 2030 to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So lahat ng ating mga activities sa science instruction can be anchored sa ating 17 example, if your activities focus on climate change, pwede natin siyang i-anchor sa SDG number 13 because SDG number 13 is on climate action. So mga ganon. So you can, of course, maybe some of you or most of you are already familiar with SDGs. We'll have separate questions no, about SDGs no, in our future review session. So that's for SDGs. Okay. What are the characteristics of students who are proficient in science? A, students know, use, and interpret scientific explanation. B, students generate and evaluate scientific evidence and explanations. C, students understand the nature and development of scientific knowledge. Or letter D, all of the above. So what do you think are the characteristics of students who are proficient in science? What is the answer? Future LPTs, of course, these are all of the above. So all of these, all of the aforementioned characteristics are actually characteristics of students who are proficient in science. So they are able to interpret scientific explanation, evaluate scientific evidence, and understand the nature and development of scientific. Next question, all of the following are examples of science process skills except A, observation, B, communication, C, prediction, D, precision. So what is the answer? Of course, nabanggit natin yung mga basic science process skills kanina, and which is excluded or not part of it, of course, precision. Because precision is part of our measurement na. So measurement is the science process skill. So when we say precision, pag lagi natin sinasabi, no, pag precision, we cannot get away with the term accuracy also. So let's try to differentiate. So accuracy refers to how close a measurement is to the true or accepted value. So for example, we have here the dartboard. Of course, ang ating accepted or true value ay yung gitna. Okay? So kapag for example, nag-dart ka at malapit sa target mo, no, sa close to the accepted value, then you are that pertains to accuracy. So here you can see that there is high accuracy, no, as you can see in the dartboard. Kasi natudla natin yung pinakagitna, di ba? So medyo hindi naman medyo, kundi malapit talaga siya sa gitna, which is close to the true value or true measurement. Well, precision refers to how close the measured values are to one another. Repeating an experiment increases its precision. Say for example, the true value is nasa gitna. So kung titignan natin dito, walang pumunta sa gitna rito, so that is low accuracy. Ito kanina high accuracy, walang pumunta sa gitna. Dito usually natudla yung mga dart. So basically, it is a low accuracy, but take note, this is high precision. Why? Nung una mong bato na andito, pangalawang bato nandito, pangatlo, pang-apat. So malapit siya to one another. So that's still precise. Okay? So remember, it pertains to how close the measured value to one another. So this is high precision aspect. Okay? High precision yan. However, this is low accuracy. And remember, pag tinanong kayo sa board exam, what increases the precision no, in an experiment is the repeatability. So if you repeat an experiment, then that increases its precision. That's why meron tayong mga trials, di ba, sa ating mga experimentation to increase no the precision of our experimentation. Okay, so that's for the question, for the previous question. So all of the following next question, all of the following statement is true except A, the teaching of science develops inquiring minds and curiosity about the world. B, the teaching of science appreciates the benefits and limitation of science and its applications. C, the teaching of science obscures the understanding of the international nature of science. Or letter D, the teaching of science obscures the understanding of the international nature of science. All of the following statement is true, except, okay. What's the answer? Meron tayong dalawang magkapareho, C and D. Okay, so tingnan natin. Okay, so of course, letter C and D ang sagot dyan, no? Nagkamali lang ako ng ano dito. Pero the letter C here, the teaching of science obscures the understanding of the international nature of science. So pag nakita ito, when we say kasi obscure, so parang it hinders, no, the understanding or pinalalabo niya pa yung understanding natin sa international nature of science. So that makes it incomplete. It's not obscure, but it actually facilitates, no, it actually deepens, no, our understanding and not obscure. So, okay. So this is a typographical error, but letter C, letter D pag ganito, C or D, no, will be your answer because these are all, these both of these statements are incorrect. Next question, this strategy aims to expose students to a broad range of concepts or topics and disciplines until they master them by studying them repeatedly, but with varying degrees of difficulty. What particular strategy is being mentioned? A, teaching outside specialization. B, spiral progression. C, learning loss. D, educational disruption. What strategy is that? Okay. So there is a broad range of concepts, okay, until they master them, studying repeatedly with varying degrees of difficulty, of course, we're pertaining to spiral progression. So kanina, I have shown you the curriculum for science and you can see hindi na siya yung before, di ba? For example, during first year to fourth year noon, yung first year natin, ako nasa old science curriculum ako, yung first year natin noong high school tayo is general science, then yung second year natin, biology, then third year natin, chemistry, then fourth year natin, physics. So, hindi na ngayon. Ganon. Okay? Ngayon, we are now in the spiral progression approach. We're in integrated ang science. May physics, may chemistry, may biology, may earth and space science in every grade level. However, the teaching of this, although these are repeatedly taught, but this is being taught from simple to complex. So there is what we call the varying degrees of complexity or difficulty. Okay? So when we talk about teaching outside specialization, we're talking about the non-majors or the non-specialists of science. Naiiwasan ba yun? Hindi. May mga nagtuturo ng science pero hindi sila major ng science, right? Especially if, for example, there is a lack of teachers in the department. Okay? Then spiral progression ideas and concepts are revisited. So meron at meron, paulit-ulit. But the level of complexity depends each time. So for example, in grade 7, there is a topic on cell. Meron ulit yan ng grade 8, ng grade 9, and grade 10. But of course, the topics are being taught from simple to complex. Okay? Then learning loss refers to any specific or general loss of knowledge and skills or to reversals in academic progress. Ito yung iniwasan natin during this pandemic. No? So that's why we continued, no? Nagkaroon ng basic education continuity learning plan because what we're avoiding is the learning loss. Okay? So we cannot accept na magkakaroon ng learning loss ang ating mga estudyante. Okay? So that's why we continued, no? We have our emergency remote teaching and learning, the ERT. And of course, nagkaroon ng modular-based learning, nagkaroon din ng mga online learning modalities. Now, we do have the flexible learning modality. Then, educational disruption is a sudden break or interruption in education due to several issues, several circumstances such as the pandemic that we are in. Okay? Okay, so that's the last question, no, for these LEPT review drill and science majorship. I hope nakakuha kayo ng 10 out of 10, no? So paki-comment nga kung ilan ang nakuha ninyo sa ating LEPT review drill, no, in the comment section below. So before I end, I'd like to share with you what Richard Sanchez said, and I quote, "The most important investment you can make is in yourself." So I hope that you continue to invest, no, your time, invest your resources in preparing, no, for your upcoming board exam for license and for professional teachers. So hopefully na meron tayong natutunan ngayon sa ating review drill number 1. And my commitment is to upload more. Hopefully hindi na tayo busy for the next days so we can upload regularly. So if you have questions or if you have topic suggestions, feel free to comment down below. And if you want to say something, no, just comment it down below. Lahat ng inyong mga gusto mong sabihin. Alright? So I can read them later. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. We will upload more science majorship trees as well as Prof. Ed and Jen. So maraming pong salamat till our next review.